Okay. 8 shocking truths about Ukrainian women. We've been waiting a while to do this one, haven't we, Luba? We've been building this list. Well, I have. And a lot of this list is actually based on my observations, working with Luba, women in Ukraine that I've dated, and just general theories that I come up with when I have nothing else to do. So we want to share those with you for fun.
I disagree with some of them.
Yep. So, my name is Striker anyway.
My name is Luba.
And we're the owners of Heart Rocket, international matchmaking agency, where we help guys from the West, including Western Europe, with women from Ukraine, and we've done it for many, many years. And we want to give you these shocking truths so that you know about them, basically, don't we?
Very much so. Why?
Okay, so let's start off with number one, right? Number one, they are cold and emotionless. Now, you may have heard this before, that they are cold and emotionless. Now, don't let Luba fool you when she's on camera here. It's not like that.
What?
She's acting.
What are you talking about?
It's okay, you can be yourself. So, cold and emotionless. Okay, but this is, we're going to say what these are, then we're going to just give a little bit of our thoughts on it.
No.
So, please, I am. Was there anything on here that says that they interrupt during important moments?
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of their whole culture anyway. So everyone in the culture does have this emotionless kind of look to them when they're walking around. Nobody's really smiling, are they? And, I noticed that straight away. I'm walking around, having a good time, and no one else is. And I'm thinking, oh, stop doing that now. And that's definitely a cultural thing.
They're coconuts.
Yeah, okay. So we described them, well, I described them as a coconut. In the West, it's people are very soft on the outside. They're smiling, they ask how you are, and you answer that question with an answer that may not be true, such as, yeah, I'm fine, when really you're not. So it's difficult to get a really true and honest answer from a Western person until you get deep down inside, right? Maybe honest is not the right way, but an answer that has some...
Build trust.
some feeling. No, not really build trust.
I think that people are closed because they always suspicious that somebody...
Ukraine.
Yeah,
Yes.
in Ukraine, there's a theory of coconut and peaches. I think that you told me about that.
Yeah.
Is that coconut, it's like hard outside, it's very difficult to open, but then inside it's juicy, it's soft, and etc. When the peaches are very soft outside, it's easy, to start the conversation, but inside they're hard.
Yeah.
So I do believe that people like the Western people, when they was coming to Ukraine, they always see that Ukrainians never smile. They always walk on the street very preoccupied. But I think it's a lifestyle, unfortunately. I do believe that, I'm not saying that on the West it's easier to live or survive than in Ukraine, but even older people here in Spain or in the West, they traveling, they dancing, they drinking beer. When in Ukraine, they need to survive because they have no money.
Okay, so in saying all that, I personally didn't actually have that much experiencing that, so I know that it is the consensus. It can happen. It is when you look superficially around, but if you spend time with, say, friends of friends that you just meet, or you go on a date, I've never experienced that. So I know that some people are actually a little bit
Especially they want you to drink vodka with them and then they will be your best friends.
Yeah.
But I'm not cold, right? Why did you say that? No, tell.
What?
Am I cold?
No, you're not cold. That's what I'm saying. Okay. This is not a list about you. I keep telling you that. It's not about you. And a lot of this list is actually based on my observations, working with Luba. It's not always about you. So this next one is important. And if you do want to date a woman from Ukraine, you must understand this. And I think that a lot of men, I can tell from the comments, don't understand this. It is that they will expect more from you as a man than a Western woman would. Right?
Yes.
So sometimes you see in the comments or around the place that it's not fair. They expect so much of the man, what am I supposed to do? Blah, 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 blah. But you have to understand why that is. The reason that she expects more from a man is because she's more reliant on the man as opposed to a Western woman. Why is a Western woman not reliant on a man? Because she already has everything that she needs for the most part. See what I mean? So they will expect more from you than, say, your past relationships with Western women. That is to be expected. And it's good. It's a good thing if you understand it and you can use that to your advantage. Yeah?
Yes, I agree with that very much, because some guys say, oh, she's expecting that I will do this and this. You know, there's a famous song on the West right now, like super famous. If you haven't heard, like you should.
Super famous.
Super famous. It's like Miley Cyrus. She's singing like, I can buy myself flowers. I can hold my own hand.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah. You know, it's like super melodical, but I really hope that this will not happen to Ukrainian ladies, because, I mean, like, do you really want a lady to be able to do everything without you? Like everything, especially with the industry that is going on, like everything without men. So
everything.
Just saw something there. You know, like that's why they expect. And I think that as soon as they will expect from a man, you know, love, relationship, passion will exist. As soon as they will stop expecting, that's it.
Yeah.
The industry,
the industry of relationships will be over, and we'll all be living in a matrix, plugged into cables and wires and living in a simulated world.
But honestly, like with all this like equipment, new equipment that man and woman can, you know, substitute each other nowadays, without going into too much details, like I think that, you know, the man should...
I just put another one here. They're also completely, totally delusional.
About what?
Oh, nothing. Number 10, they ask too many questions. Okay, all right, okay, let's keep going. We're serious here, okay? Number 3, they can be more prudish than our Western...
New word.
What?
I want to Google this word because I didn't know.
Oh, let's ask... Hey, can you please explain to me what prudish means in Russian?
Here's an explanation for your friend Luba in Russian. Слово «prudish» означает человека, который чрезмерно озабочен приличием или скромностью.
Basically, it's hard to have sex with her, right? Like you want to have sex with her, but you can't do it because she's prudish. She's not going to, you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I understand what you mean. When someone is described as prudish, it often implies that they are very conservative or strict about sexual matters, making it difficult to engage in intimate activities with them. They might be uncomfortable or unwilling to discuss or participate in.
Okay, so that's it.
You know, it's very much so.
Yeah.
It's very much so, and we discussed that a lot. Like we discussed that, you know, in the USSR, you can't speak about that. I think that even we spoke with you about sex education at school, like as a class. Like we didn't have it. Like all we knew it was the book of biology, where
a picture book, a coloring in book.
Coloring in book. Like honestly, nobody ever spoke about this, and that's why it's always like, because like I like the translation here. As I see, it's always like, oh, I can't speak about that. Oh, I can't speak about that.
I would say
only with you I start speak about that much. Before it was like I was...
Number 11, always passing the blame to someone else.
Yes.
Okay.
It's not a bad one.
So that's what I think. And I'm not saying that they're so prudish that you're not going to have sex, or even, you know, that she becomes sexual in nature at all. And I'm 100% certain about that. But
it's hard to start.
What's that?
It's hard to start.
It's hard to get it started.
But once you do,
you can't stop. But they're not as forthcoming about sex, right? Or they would never discuss sex in a way that maybe you would hear Western women talk about who they had sex with and blah, 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 blah. Maybe they do it among their friends, but in front of men, I couldn't imagine them doing that. I don't think that they would do it, which is different from in the West, where it's more open and free to discuss. And if you had sex with someone last weekend and someone different the weekend before, you can sit there and discuss that in a room with people, you know, men and women, and it's not a big thing. So they can be more prudish. So that was number 3, most shocking truths about Ukrainian.
But very much true.
But very much true. And also there's a stigma around that too. Sorry, I just missed out. There's a 3.4. There's a stigma around that too. If she becomes a slut, it's not a good thing. Okay, number 4. They're direct in what they say. Luba and I have got different views of opinion on why that is, you know, but they're probably both somewhat true. So they're direct in what they say. Why do you think that Ukrainian women are direct in what they say?
No, what I see is like in action, in like what they say, it's like in Ukraine we don't have that many regulation, like for example in the West. And recently we have a situation when the lady like the guy was holding the phone like to order taxi, and she like, he can't figure it out, and she just touched his phone, and like she said like, you should do this. And this is something that I may relate, right? Like if you do something and I can't be patient.
I'm not involved in this.
But they do that because, and then like when I was on this conference, and this has happened at the same time, when I was at the conference, like somebody was helping me to do something on the phone, and it was like during a couple of days, it was a couple of people. And they always ask, can I touch your phone? Can I use your phone? And it was like very strange, like because I'm holding my phone next to this person, it obviously means that I allow this person to touch my phone to do something. And they was like, don't you mind if I use your phone? Can I press? And for me it was like, sure you can. Because in Ukraine, and I'm not saying that it's good, like now I understand how wild and how savage it looks like, because we just grab somebody's phone and we start doing something. And I feel, to be all honest, a little bit embarrassed. And so we very direct, like we don't think, because we don't have this like, not that we don't have manners. No, it's not, but it's like we don't have that social kind of norms that, like we can't say, because on the West, if you say something to another person, it can be like if the man say something to women, like it's a sexual harassment, or it's like like whatever, or bullying, or like gaslighting. We didn't have this like now this gaslighting is everywhere. Everybody speak about that. I was struggling to understand what it is. Like it's our lifestyle in Ukraine. I'm joking, but like I didn't know that. We don't have it. So we don't have these terms. And so we speak, we say, if I don't like something, I say, and we don't worry that somebody gonna punish us for that. Like, will we offend person with that? Yes, possibly, but most likely no. And that's why they're very direct, and it's not receiving very, very well by Western culture is what I see.
Yeah, I also think that Western culture interprets their communication, if they're speaking in English, as rude, because in English we have a lot of filler words. Please, can I do something? Could it be possible for me to do this? They have all these like filler words that politens the sentence. Now, if you remove those and you're used to those, you'll think, well, why did you say that in such a way? It's so rude. But in their language, they don't have a lot of these filler words in there. It's just very direct. I want this.
We don't have
small
talks. We don't have small talks. And even when we just started with Striker calls, I remember we have our first strategy call. Striker said, can you at least ask how is his day going? I said, like, why? Like, you call us like for business, like, let's talk about business. I didn't know that because and I do like it, honestly. I do like it more when you have a little bit of a small talk and you discuss something and you can get to you can at least focus on each other. And it's like the moment when you can sync with each other and you can, okay, now I talk to John, and do that. But we don't have it. And so, and for me, I needed to adjust to that. And maybe you talk to the lady and she is very direct with your mother or with your friends. So don't tell her, don't blame her. Oh, you need just like slightly, just a little bit, like in a funny way. No, not in a funny way. Funny way is also may get offended.
Okay, yeah. So my thoughts on it is that it's just that it's how we interpret it. They don't think it's weird in their culture. It's just the way that they speak to each other. We just interpret it that way. So, which actually, when you think about it, it actually blurs the lines, doesn't it, between a rude person and a person just speaking.
Absolutely.
So what happens if a Ukrainian is really rude? How do they move their eyebrows like this? Like they say the exact same thing, but they...
Oh, you can tell. You would
frown?
be able to tell.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. All right then, so that's that one. That's pretty shocking. Anyway, so the next ones, I was thinking about writing these, and I was thinking, how could I, what comes to mind? I just thought about Luba, and the rest of these are about Luba.
Do you like how my cup match my dress?
Delusional, did I put that one there? So, this is one thing that I noticed with Luba, but I've seen it in other places too, is that they live in the moment, and you can think that that's in the West, living in the moment is a great thing. We're living in the moment, we're having the time of our lives. They live in the moment because the future seems so bleak. And this is a bad thing, because I remember when we were doing some other business in Ukraine to do with property, and we were working with other companies, and you were very skeptical about, look, they're not going to be thinking like, what's going to happen in 2 months or in a year. Whereas I'm from the West, so we think about building relationships and, expanding and building new things and trying to do things to benefit them and all that sort of stuff. And you're like, what are you talking about? This is just ridiculous. Like, why would they want to sit down and talk about what we're going to be doing in 6 months or a year? And so they live now because the future seems so bleak, right? There's nothing happening in the future. So they think, if I'm not making money now, if I'm not doing this now, and it's not happening now, then I'm not going to even take it seriously at all. So that it's difficult for them to think for a long-termish kind of a plan for many things. Not saying they don't want to have that, but it's hard for them to think of it now. So they may want a long-term relationship and have a family and all that sort of stuff, but right now they're going to be, which is the next one, they're going to be very skeptical of those things. And if I don't see it now, it probably won't ever happen. So don't bullshit me.
True. Unfortunately.
That's what you got to say about that?
Yeah. No, it's like, and not even in that, like it just came to my memory one thing that I remember I came to, I don't want to, long story, but like came to the nurse. And so in Ukraine, you need to bribe, but before they do something for you, because if you want them to do something good for you right now, you need to aware them that you're going to do something good for them.
Yeah.
And in US, like it's more like you're building relationship, you're talking, you're getting like to the friendship, you know, you're discussing. In Ukraine, it's like here and now, and that's it. And it's like living the moment. For us, it's not like enjoying the moment. It's like just fix what you have right now without thinking how you're going to deal with that, because things were changing so fast that like people were changing. It's like one day, it's not like I have a lot of guys we have, and they say I work for this company for 25 years. Like all of my friends changed like, I don't know, 10 jobs in their 35, you know, and not because they're bad people, just because everything is so unstable, when on the West it's so much more stable. I mean, at least used to be. I know that now there's a lot of changes as well. So yeah, live in the moment. I agree.
Yeah.
And skeptical.
Yeah, it kind of ties into that. They're skeptical, you know. When I went to Ukraine, you know, I'm very optimistic in nature for the most part, and I, you know, if something bad happens, then yeah, I'll go, okay, you know, maybe next time I'll do it differently.
Which are skeptical from the beginning.
Who?
Ukrainians.
I was.
No, I said that you say that Western people not skeptical from the beginning. Like if something happened, they become skeptical.
Well, I'm not sure about other people. I'm just talking about.
But Ukrainians are skeptical about everything and always.
Yeah, everyone is. Why would you trust them? That's not how it's going to happen. And there's been many times, like in our working together, where I've said we should do this, or we should, and you're straight away she'll shut it down. No, that's never going to happen. A Ukrainian would never agree to that. They would never do this. And so I used to get really frustrated with this. But over time, Luba, I must admit, has got better. And coming around and seeing things from my point of view, maybe living in Spain as well, but it was very difficult for them, for a new idea.
They're
for a new idea.
Close-minded.
Because we were talking about something. What was it? I remember we were saying that we were talking about how the way you buy something online there and it gets shipped to the post office and you go and get it from the post office. And for me, that was really strange. But for you, it's like, well, if you pay them direct and it doesn't come, people would rip people off. And this is how but in the rest of the world, people have been doing e-commerce and buying stuff online for years. But there it was like this, it's got to be this, and you know, it can't happen any other way. But you know, now they're starting to sort of change things like that. Did you know what I mean? Like it's hard it was hard for you to go, you'll never be able to sell anything online in Ukraine because no one's going to give their credit card to a website. Because that was just the mentality there. It was like people just don't do that stuff.
You know, it took a while because like I remember even like 10 years ago, I was coming to my auntie in New York, and she's always ordering online. Like they just throw it near the door, you know, and when she come home, in Ukraine, are you kidding me? Like you need to have like 15 phone calls from the it was really bad, and that's why we were so skeptical, or we were so conservative about stuff. We just didn't have a good one. Like we just literally didn't have, and we didn't have this trust that we still don't have. And like, do they steal Amazon packages? Like the neighbor, like if you live in not a very good neighborhood, of course. But in general, even like I said, Striker, you know, about the fences, you know, like in Ukraine, like fences, you need to have a fence that nobody will ever see what you have. Like you need to shut the curtains. When here, like there's no fences, like if it is a door, people have like kids running around, everybody come. Like it's different. It's very different and difficult to adjust.
When you're in the United States, you showed me, you said, look at this door, and it was like the back main door, or maybe the front main door, you know, and it's a door with like 3 panes of glass in it or something. Or you're like, this is it. This is the door. This is like, what, like, how can this stop people from getting in? Because if you ever go to Ukraine and you rent in an apartment, you'll notice the door is like this thick.
It's like with
and
metal.
When you turn the things, these like 4 or 5 thick pins come through, and they're like bulletproof doors.
It's bulletproof. Like it was a big thing because my dad was working in the factory when I was born, and we had like the door is heaviest, like super heavy. And when you shout, it's like it's super heavy. But yeah, they're They are like, it's not just.
Yeah.
But I don't know why, honestly.
Yeah, they're skeptical of everything. So yeah, so you just got to be, you know, get used to it. Okay, number 7. They don't, I guess these are kind of the same,
yeah.
but they don't think outside the box. Now, in the past, when Luba is starting to evolve, so in the past when I call Luba, I say, hey Luba, I've got this idea, 1,000 reasons why it can't be done, and I'll start, you give me 1,000 reasons why it can't be done. Give me some reasons why it can be done. And then like, I would say, okay, whatever, if it can't be done, it can't be done. You know Ukraine better or whatever. But then what happens these days? She still says 1,000 reasons, no, maybe not 1,000 reasons why it can't be done. Maybe like 10 reasons why it can't be done. And then I say, okay then, all right, well that's that then. And then I wait, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 days. She'll call me back. Hey, I just had this idea. Oh, what is it? And you'll tell me the exact same idea that I just told you. And at first I used to say, I told you about this. You weren't listening, I told you. Now I say, what a great idea. Let's do it. And that's how you can use some of these to your own advantage, especially with the Ukrainian woman. If she thinks it's her idea, when you get to that level.
So what's gonna happen? But what's gonna happen now? Like you're what, superhero, and I'm what, stupid? Like according to this video, like I'm a horrible person?
Number 14, good at self-assessments.
No, Striker, why you, like people will think that I'm like a monster.
No, they don't think that at all. Please like this video if you think she's a monster. If you don't think she's a monster, like it twice.
Then it will unlike it. No, honestly, like why? I mean,
smart too. Okay, so that's pretty much it. These are just like some things that, you know.
What about the last one? I'm shocked that you
the last
skip
one.
it. No, but wait. I want to say why I was saying no, and why I say now yes. But you will be discouraged if I say yes.
This is not the time or the place.
No, but you know, I do believe that yes, you know, Striker was giving a lot of ideas, and honestly, I don't know, maybe because of like scarcity or something, it's true. In Ukraine, I was always say no, and I was really giving him 1,000, even though like I'm achiever, like I like to achieve stuff, I like to find out, I like to learn new, but sometimes like his ideas, I just knew that they're not in place like to deal with Ukrainian like bureaucracy.
Mindset
or
also.
Mindset.
Yeah.
And it's not just mine. I understood that it's not he is going to do it like I like that. I mean, to be honest, like it's not because of the language barrier and stuff. And I was a little like when I was thinking that I need to deal with Ukrainian people, like to like companies, I understood that he will not at the end receive the result that he is expecting.
No, wrong. I disagree. Because someone has to go on that. So in the West, we have things that are normal. So in Ukraine, there was this like website where you could sell your stuff on, kind of like eBay. Or in New Zealand, we have one called Trade. You can sell anything on there, but you couldn't accept credit cards on there. And I said to Luba, like, I could build this website that accepts like credit cards. And Luba's like, what, do you think that people are going to put their credit card in to buy somebody's used couch on this website? That's not going to happen. But for me, it's like, but that's what we do in the West.
Of course.
We always do
this is because of lack of knowledge, of course. And also, but now when like he calls me, like it's not always that I then call you and say that it is my idea.
Well, define always.
But that I call you always, yes, but not. But I become more open because I realized, you know, like I think that when we left Ukraine, after we left Ukraine, a lot changed in me. You know, after like I drove a car for 52 hours without stop, without sleep, without food, like a lot changed. And a lot of things that I thought before that I can't do, I realized that like I can do anything, you know, and it's not that I'm like a Striker, like to make joke of me, like strong and independent, but I just realized that if you want to achieve something, maybe you can't achieve it tomorrow. Maybe you need to achieve it like step by step. Maybe you need to break it in little things. But I do open up my mind, but only after like something that significant happened in our lives, when I realized that, no, like if we think that it is a good idea, we will do it. And
it's not saying anything bad about Ukrainian people or you or Ukrainian women or anything like that. It's just that's the way that it is. You know, they may look at the West and maybe a Ukrainian woman moves to the West and thinks everyone here is just so gullible. They just accept anything. They must all be getting ripped off. So it's just the way that it is. We tell you these things so that you know.
Just quickly we'll say, like, you know, like the mentality, even like when I speak with my mom, the mentality of older generation now, but I mean, she's not that old, she's 54, you know, like when I speak with her, it's like, it's okay, we have this and it's enough. And when I say like, no, it's not enough, I want more, I want better, I want bigger, I want like this. And in their mentality, at least this. You know, this is the mentality. At
Yeah.
least this, because when she was a kid, especially with food, even like when we, like, you know, they're very, very conservative. Like they're very conservative with what they try. And sometimes, like my mom is not so much, but like most of the people, like you say, try this cheese. Oh, like cheese, like only can be like the Holland cheese. It was like in USSR, like Holland cheese, like one type of cheese, because they didn't have anything else. And so they think, because they knew how it was without that cheese and with this cheese, right? And so they think, at least I will have one cheese, because like these 15 types, I'm not sure, like, will they exist? Are they too expensive for me? And so the mentality of those people is that to have at least this. Nowadays, new mentality is like having more. And I'm not sure like 100% that I agree with like having more material things, because people just start buying new phones, new computers without fixing anything. Before, people was like more caring, right, about stuff. They was fixing, like if something broke. Now, no, trash, new one, new one, new one. China is like working non-stop.
Timu.
But in general, yes, more conservative, and it takes time. As I said, in a relationship, the most important is patience. If you're patient, you can achieve a lot, because otherwise, if you try to blame her for that, it's not going to help. Like, and you've been very smart about raising me.
Well, it hasn't been easy. Okay, so the next one is...
I'm sorry,
the next one is...
Don't worry, what you going to say?
The next one... the next one is...
What you're going to blame me for?
And no Ukrainian woman, no man has ever been able to conquer this with a Ukrainian woman, or probably just any Ukrainians in general, and that is to get them to try spicy food. They can't do it. It's like kryptonite to Superman for them. They can't, they have no, it's like the gene that people are born with that allows them to experience spicy food has gone, and it's been replaced with a gene that can only experience pure pain. And so I always try to get Luba to try spicy food, but...
You always do, and I'm dying.
And I have done a couple of times, and I feel guilty, of course, but for what happens in the onslaught of snivelling and coughing and falling over. So I feel bad about it a bit, but half of me is also like, yes, I did it. Yes, no, she tried it.
But like if we cook together, like it's ridiculous, because like then, compared to his food, my food has no flavor.
None.
But because your food is just like, you have no flavor of food. I mean, no, you're cooking good, but it's like super spicy. You know, I don't know. We have a lot of herbs. Like it's common to use herbs for meat and stuff, but not spicy, not hot one. And Western people are different. And what is interesting is that like Tabasco, right? Tabasco is very common. When I last year went to Doug and Elena, she has a kid, and so like she can't even touch Tabasco, but like Doug, of course, eating a lot of Tabasco. And then I seen their son, like he started, like Doug was putting to his food, and Elena was like, why are you doing that, stop it. And the kid was like willing that, you know, because kid is 10 years old, and so obviously kid will get to the point that he will eat spicy food, because he put it like on watermelon, I think, like something. So the kid the palate start to adjust to that. But when you never done it before, like for me, like what Striker consider a little bit spicy, because Striker needs like something that will kill the bull. For me, it's very spicy because I never tried it, and I don't like, if it is inside my stomach, it's pleasant feeling, but if it is my throat, it's like you can't swallow. And a lot of people, we just not experience that, and
yes,
so expect.
Yeah, they don't
drink water. You know, one more I will add: spicy food and drinks with ice. In US, like they bring you this big like can of like a liter of like ice and a little bit of Coke. When in Ukraine they don't do it. And I remember it was funny, at the restaurants the guys was like ordering, for example, Coke, and they bring them just Coke, bottle of Coke, and they say, where's the ice? And they bring you a little bit, like little tiny bowl, like with 3 pieces of ice, like a caviar. And that is a different culture, you know. We don't drink drinks with ice.
Yeah, I think it's also the fact that, you know, like I joke about the food being extremely bland. And so, yeah, like the complexity of your taste buds is not there.
But we understand the flavor of vareniki, and you don't.
No, you don't, because that's not real. That's not real. That's
simulation.
It's not. You're getting flavor and texture mixed up.
But I remember that, like, and also, you know, like now we come to the shop. I went, like Striker likes spicy stuff. I went in US, like, give me the most spicy. 100 types, you can't even choose. In Ukraine, I remember my dad, like he likes spicy. I now remember. And so the only spice that we have is like we eat vareniki, and he put a lot of black pepper. It's the only spice that we have.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Would you like some spicy food? Oh,
did you blame me enough? Did you?
Oh, too much.
Did you blame it enough? Me and my culture?
Yeah.
Happy?
Well, how about you do one about shocking truths about Western men?
Do you want everybody to unsubscribe? If I start, I can't stop.
Right. So that was.
No, I'm joking.
That was 8 shocking truths about Ukrainian women. Subscribe to the channel for more ridiculous videos like this. See you later.
Bye.